Hi everyone, I hope you had time to read chapter 1, pages 1 through 4. Now we're going to write some Civil War facts for our first paragraph. So we have a few questions that we want to ask ourselves. What is slavery? When did they have slaves? And why did they have slaves? We will begin first by brainstorming what slavery is. So you can take some time to generate some ideas that you got from your reading, and you can share those with your mom, or you can write those down in your read book that you should have found in your book box, your read book. So this is where you're going to brainstorm your ideas for your first paragraph. Now, I'm going to use this board as my paper, and you are going to use this journal as your paper. All right, so let's begin. So we will ask ourselves, what is slavery? Well, when I was reading with you, I found out that slavery is a practice that was used a long time ago, and it was used in Europe, it was used in ancient Greece and ancient Rome, and unfortunately, it was also a practice used in the United States, where we live. So this is what it was. It was people using other people to work without pay and without their permission. Sorry, my writing's a little bit tight there between my questions, but you get the idea. So it is people using other people to work without pay and without their permission. Now, this was a very sad time in our history. In the U.S., well, also in Europe, actually let me go back and say in Europe, slaves were taken from Africa, and they were kidnapped, they were forced to get on ships and sail to their land, and they would use these people to work very, very hard jobs and jobs that needed to be done, but they just needed more hands. And in the United States, this was done, and we're going to go, and then I'm going to answer our next question, and it's when did they have slaves? And we're specifically going to talk about the United States, and this was done in the 1600s. It started in the 1600s, and I will tell you, United States took this practice from the Europeans because they thought, this seems like a great idea. And this is where we're going to answer this question. Why did they have slaves? Well, they thought, man, this is a really great idea. You use these people to do all this work, and we're making lots of money because the more people we have, the more work is being done. And so it happens very quickly. And so they're able to put out their product, whatever they're making, and sell it. And it's done in big quantities, and it's done and they're getting quick money. And so sadly, this practice was helping the United States become stronger and making slave owners richer. And no one in certain areas wanted for this to end because it was making them rich. And there were other areas, like I told you before, there were two ways of thinking. Well, this was sad because it caused this conflict that we talked about in our last video. So these are the answers here. Why did they have slaves? It brought in money. And you know, God says for a reason in his word that money is the root of all evil. And if you think about it, and it's hard to understand, some people might say, you shouldn't love money, you shouldn't love money, or don't let money be your God, only God should be our first love. Well, there's a good reason for that. And you may think, that's silly, why would I love money? It doesn't talk to me, it doesn't give me candy, it doesn't hug me. Well, it doesn't mean that's not what they're trying to say, that it is actually something that you can hug. Money is not to be loved more than God, because when you begin to love the money and all that it can bring, it can cause problems. And in this situation, it did. It was sad because people took their eyes and heart away from Jesus when they only looked at money as a love and as something that was more important than other human beings. And we're going to talk about this more in depth on the next pages for tomorrow. So I don't want to get in too much because I'm starting to get excited and want to tell you more, but I'm going to slow down. And we now know that these are 3 facts that you can use in your first paragraph. So we know what is slavery. We know when it started happening in the United States. And now we know why the United States wanted slaves. So you have enough information to write your first paragraph. So I'm going to show you here in your read book. You're going to take it and find a clean sheet of paper. And when you get to that clean sheet of paper, you are going to begin by looking at the first line. You see the red line going down. Well, that's going to be your signal that you're going to put 2 little fingers there, and then you're going to begin your sentence, because when you write a paragraph, you don't want to forget to indent. So when you indent, that means you're using 2 little fingers to make your first spaces, 2 spaces, and then you begin your sentence. So I'm going to use a black marker because you can see it better on the screen, but you're going to use a pencil, right? Okay, that's right. So my first sentence I want to use for my paragraph, I think would be probably giving the definition of slavery. So I would say the United States, I'll just say the U.S., right? So I can keep writing. The U.S. practiced I don't like how this sentence is going all the way across to this line. I like it to end at this red line. So, but because I'm using a big red fat marker, it's not giving me enough space. So let me start again with a little indentation. So I have my indentation in my 2 fingers, and I'm going to try and write a little smaller. But this time, I'm going to write my first topic, my topic sentence of my paragraph. I think I'm going to change it up a little bit for you, and I'm going to say, today I will share with you about slavery. Does that sound like a good sentence? What is your idea? How would you start your topic sentence? Would you say, today I'm going to talk about slavery, and then begin your facts? Or would you say, the U.S. practiced slavery, and then continue with facts? What is your thought? So I'm going to let you pause the button, the little red button to pause, or whatever button pauses your screen, and then I want you to brainstorm what you think would be a great topic sentence. Okay, well, I hope you had time to do that. I hope you found a good topic sentence. So I'm going to share with you what I wrote. I wrote, today I will talk, or I could say, today I will share my thoughts about slavery. Okay, so do you see that? Now, did you notice how I have my indentation, my 2 spaces, and then I kept working until I stopped at the red line. When I continued to write, I went back to the red line. I did not add a space or indent. I just kept going until my sentence was done. And I used punctuation. Don't forget to put spaces between your words. Now, do you also see the way I am writing, and some of the letters are coming into the next sentence? So if it's easier for you to skip a space between your words, sentences, you can. So I'm going to show you how I would do that with this pen. Today, I will share my thoughts about slavery. Now remember, you're not going to be writing with a marker. You're going to be writing with a pencil, so you won't have as much trouble with, like I am, trying to write out my words. But you get the idea, and you know the rules of writing, and we've done that many times, almost every day when we're writing. So don't forget, you have an indentation. I wrote today, comma, I, space, will, share, space, my, space, thoughts about, space, slavery, period. Now, I'm going to really push hard on this subject about how we're writing the paragraph and we're using spaces, we're using punctuation, we're trying to write our words as best as possible. You have an indentation here. Those things are important. And the way you write is important, because the reader, if the reader cannot read your words, then you just worked so hard for nothing. And I know you want everyone to enjoy your work, so you make sure that your words are written very neatly. I heard third grade loves children that write very neatly. So don't forget that, okay? Because that's our goal, is making you ready and making all of your work ready for third grade. All right? So this is our topic sentence. Now, today I will share my thoughts about slavery. And then that's my topic sentence. And the next 3 sentences are going to be facts. And that's when you get to pick out your own facts about what you learned in the book. And you can use my ideas to kind of help get you started on what you would want to write. Don't forget, your last sentence is going to be your concluding sentence, and that is going to be you coming from your thoughts and what your feelings are. So I would say my ending sentence after I write my facts about slavery, that I would want to say, finally. I could use the word finally, or I could use the word conclusion. In conclusion, those words just mean you're about to end your paragraph, and you want to now give your own feelings about what you read. So remember, we have our topic sentence. Now you can write your 3 facts and then finish your concluding sentence by writing how it made you feel in 1 sentence. All right? Well, I'm so glad I got to do this with you today. If you have any questions on our first lesson for history, please give me a shout out, and I will answer any of your questions that you might have. Bye-bye.